In 1962, having won back-to-back European Cups with Benfica, their manager, Bela Gutmann, went to the board and he requested a pay rise for the fortunes that he'd brought to the club. The board denied his request, and what he did next had a huge impact on the next 60 years of the club and counting. Bela Gutmann placed Benfica under a curse. He said that within the next 100 years, Benfica would not win another European trophy. So far, 60 years in this year, they've been in 8 finals and lost them all. It's got to the point now where, approaching another European final, they send a delegation from the club to his graveside. Bela Gutmann died in the early 80s, and they ask for his forgiveness and his acceptance for them to break the curse. Seemingly, so far, that's gone on deaf ears, and the curse remains, and Benfica have been European trophyless for the last 60 years. 40 years remain of this, in theory, supposed curse. Can we change that? Can we impact the club for the better and change their history again? Let's see. Welcome to episode 1 of Conquer the Curse. So let me welcome you to Benfica in the top flight of Portuguese football, of course, one of the powerhouses of Portuguese football. But for this particular series, you and I are not going to really be focusing on the domestic stuff that Porto, Benfica and Sporting Lisbon fight out amongst themselves. We're going to be focusing on Europe instead. The idea of this series is sometime, hopefully within about the next 5 seasons or so, you and I are going to win a European trophy with Benfica and absolutely break the curse that Bela Gutmann placed on them 60 years ago. 8 finals they've been in, 8. And there's a couple of youth finals in European competitions in there as well that they haven't won. That takes it up to about 10, I think. So ultimately, this curse seems to be very real. There's 40 years still to play out on it, but we're going to try and conquer it and try and win Benfica a European trophy. Couple of bits of housekeeping just before we properly get going. Welcome in. For anybody that's new to the channel or finding this because of the series and the fact that it's a Benfica save, welcome in. My name's Kev. I'm the United City FM, and you are absolutely welcome to join us for the journey. Anybody coming back to this particular episode from other series, maybe you've dropped off, welcome back. It's good to have you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. That really helps the channel to continue to grow. So go find the subscription button below the video and click on that one. You could always click a like for me on this particular episode as well. Maybe even click the notification bell. That will tell you when I'm going to be releasing more stuff. We've got a second series going on the channel as well. We're doing a British Isles Journeyman series called Rolling in the Isles. Go and check that out as well. I'm also live on Twitch every weekday afternoon, 3 till 5 p.m. UK time. So why not come and find me over there if you're free as well? Lots to figure out and find within the context of my United City community. Come and play a bigger part of it. Go and check out all the links in the description below, and they'll guide you around where you need to go for that. So welcome in. For this series, we are focusing on the European games that we play, not the domestic stuff. So the way it's going to work is that through this series, if we ever get into a group stage, we're going to play the 2nd, the 4th and the 6th games in that group. So in theory, that should take in all 3 teams that we play against if it's a 4-team group. So that's what we're going to do in the league stages. If we ever get to knockout stages, be it preliminary qualifying rounds or latter stages of competitions, we're going to play every second leg that we have all the way through to the final, and obviously play the finals whenever we get there if we do. So that's the plan. So in theory, this could be a really, really short season if we get knocked out in our first game and don't actually qualify for this season's group stage. And then I will play all the way through the domestic season and come back ready to play the next European game for next season if we qualify for it. It could be quite a weird, disjointed series, depending on how well we do. So I've got to do well in the domestic stuff to keep us in the Champions League or one of the other European trophies. And then we've got to do our bit and actually qualify for group stages and get out of group stages into knockout rounds and then make it all the way to the final to potentially break this curse. So that's the plan. For today, in the very first season, I've played one game domestically, which we won, which is good. But we play a qualifying round today against PSV Eindhoven. We've played the first leg. We got a very, very good 4-1 win away from home. So confidence is absolutely quite high at the moment. I'm expecting a fairly good, easy start, but who knows? We'll see what happens today. Anything can happen. And just before we get into that, let me just introduce you to a couple of the players in my squad. So this is my squad page for Benfica. Now, what I would say is that we actually haven't really done any business since I entered the club a couple of months ago at the beginning of this summer transfer process. I didn't feel like there was too much value in the market, if I'm totally honest. I thought that the squad was decent and I wanted to get a properly good look at them. Finances are not particularly amazing either. They're okay, but they're not amazing. So for now, we're going to go in basically with what we had. We're playing on the winter update for FM22, so some of those transfers have been taken into account as well, just so you're aware of that. And this is the squad that we've got. So there's a couple of key players in here, but mostly this squad is reasonably decent throughout. You can see the star ratings, which is basically just a bit of a guide. They're not to be taken too literally, but they're a bit of a guide. You can see mostly there's some good potential in some of these players, if they haven't realised it already, but it's fairly consistent across the board. A couple of the star men are at the back for us. Nicolas Otamendi is 33 years old now, lacks a little bit of pace, but other than that, at this kind of level of football, for this season specifically, is going to be important to us to hold our back line for us. He's going to be very, very ably partnered by Verissimo, who I really like. I think this guy's going to be superb for us if we can keep hold of him throughout. I think for the next 4 or 5 seasons, this guy could be our central defender with no issues at all. So that's really important. So those two at the back are going to be key for us. We've got a couple of very, very good central midfielders, the likes of this guy, Julian. I'm not sure how to pronounce his second name. We're going to go with Weigl. But if it's different, let me know in the comments below. But that's what I'm going with. And I think as a slightly more defensive-minded central midfield player, this guy's going to do bits for us. Again, maybe lacking a little bit of pace. Maybe that's something that we need to embed into this team a little bit more as we move forward. But for now, he's going to be playing in a central midfield role. Again, very, very ably supported in midfield by João Mario, who I really like. Again, I think this guy's got a lot about him. 16 passing is decent, vision of 15 is decent, composure, decisions, first touch, all really strong. Good all-round player for this level of football, I feel. So he's going to be there for us. Couple of wide men, the best of which, in theory, is this guy, Rafa. Portuguese, not Brazilian, Portuguese player. And those are really important as well to have in the squad. We've got to get the balance of Portuguese right. There's also some registration rules about young players and having enough of them in the squad as well. Other bits and pieces like that. So I think we've managed to figure out a good basis for the squad for this season. But this guy, dribbling is great. He's going to be cutting in off our left-hand side onto his right foot and basically trying to go for goal rather than crossing the ball in. He's got some decent passing about him, decent vision, so he's going to be able to interpass with lots of players around him. Hopefully, we can get something out of him. Up top, we've got an absolute superstar, really, that most of us in the Football Manager world know. Darwin Núñez, striker, Uruguayan, 22 years old. He could do with a little bit more in terms of his technicals, I would suggest, but his physicals and his mentals really make up for that. Lots of pace, lots of commitment and determination to it. As I say, a little bit more on maybe the finishing and the heading wouldn't go amiss, but other than that, he's going to be fantastic. And there's lots to support him with around the squad as well. So it's not a bad squad. The other thing that I would say is if we go into the development centre and we go and have a look at the under-23s, there's a couple of really, really interesting players that are loaned out from this club that I didn't do. For example, this guy, Florentino Luis, he's a holding midfield player. I would have played this guy. I really would. I rate him very highly at 21 years old, and he's Portuguese. He's on loan at Getafe at the moment. Unfortunately, I don't really understand why he is. If you're a Benfica fan, why is this guy out of your club? Let me know. Is it just purely for development that he hasn't reached his potential yet? Or is there something else going on there? But as a holding player, I would play him, definitely. So that's somebody to look out for maybe next season. The other one that's really interesting as a striker is this guy, Carlos Vinicius. And he's really fantastic, I feel. But again, he's been loaned out around the place. He's actually on loan at our opponents today, PSV currently. But with 16 composure, 16 finishing, 14 pace, a lot of strength. He's got 6'4" height. Why is this guy being loaned out again? What's gone wrong with him at Benfica before that means he's now loaned out? Let me know in the comments below if you can. Because I would, again, he'd be in my starting lineup if I could have him. So next season, a couple of these players are going to be coming back. The one that we've lost full time, unfortunately, again, which I'm really disappointed about, is Gedson Fernandes, 22-year-old Portuguese player. He's actually going to be joining Besiktas next season. Already that's sorted out. Again, I would play this guy. I would put him in and around my squad and give him some game time. So I'm a little bit disappointed by that. But that's just one of those things, unfortunately, that happens. So yeah, lots to be intrigued by this squad moving forward, even past this season. But for this season, I feel like we've got a good enough squad to properly give it a good go in the domestic stuff. And who knows where it will take us in the European stuff. So let's go and check out how we're going to actually set up the team. Now, one of the things that Bela Gutmann brought with him whenever he was managing in Benfica was a 4-2-4 formation, which was quite unique at the time. A lot more attacking, I think, than most players and fans were used to playing and watching at the time. So we're going to try and replicate that as much as we can. We're only going to go in with the positive rather than the attacking mentality as a starting point. We're keeping a lot of the instructions fairly simple, but it is in that 4-2-4 kind of shape. Attacking wingers, trying to get involved in the play, getting the ball up the pitch and trying to create lots of chances for us in an attractive way as we can. So attacking fullbacks are going to be really key for us. The central two midfielders are going to basically hold their spot as much as we can. Carrilero and central midfield on support. I've got those two set at the moment. So they're not going to be roaming too far. It's going to be a sort of a holding position for them in the middle, and everybody else is going to be running around them, sort of, and they're going to help us to hopefully keep the shape. So that's what we're going to go in with. The rest of it will get tweaked as we go. There'll be some additional instructions, both team-wise and player-wise, as we move on. But for now, this is how we're going to absolutely set up for our first few games. So we are 4-1 up over PSV in the first leg of our qualifying round today. So can we see the job out and do this properly and get the job done? Well, let's find out. So I'm going to introduce you to a couple more of our players. The first one is this guy. This is our goalkeeper, Odysseus. And I can't pronounce his second name very well. Vlachodimos, I think. So we're going to go with that. But he's going to be our goalkeeper for this season. We've also got Svilar, who is a backup goalkeeper, might find his way into the first team. Who knows? There's a couple of reasonable goalkeepers there. So we've got Vlachodimos in goal. We've got Lazaro at right fullback, Grimaldo at left fullback. We've got Verissimo and Otamendi in central defence. Weigl and Mario in central midfield. Everton on the right, Rafa on the left, and Nunes and Yaremchuk up top with a whole host of players on the bench. We can play 12 players in this round of the competition on the bench. So pretty much our entire squad is available to us. So let's get into our first game as Benfica manager and see what happens. So, already being 4-1 up, there's a real possibility that complacency can kick in. So, I've deliberately gone with that for the team talk. I've put my hands on my hips. I've given them a gesture to suggest that they've got to be paying attention today. They've got to guard against complacency. They've got to basically go out there and treat it like it's 0-0 and do it all over again. That's the intention of this particular match. And we'll see how we get on. We're at home for this one. The 4-1 win away from home was magnificent. Brand new game, though. They've got some great players. Van Ginkel. They've got Mario Götze in there. They've got Carlos Vinicius, our striker, playing as well. So anything can still happen. We have to find a way to see this game out. Couple of other bits and pieces just to tell you about. So in the domestic league, we're actually second favourites behind Porto in the season preview. The expectation for the board is that we try and win that title. So that's the first thing that we'll have to try and achieve. And secondly, for the European stuff, we're currently trying to qualify for the group stages of the Champions Cup, the Champions League in Football Manager 22. And that's the minimum expectation from the board here as well, that we qualify for our group stage in the Champions Cup. And anything further than that is kind of an added bonus at this point. We're playing quite well here. 12 minutes in, we've had a couple of shots at goal, forced a couple of corners as well. Another one here for Grimaldo to put into the near post. Doesn't really do a great job of delivering that one, though, and it's very easily cleared. But a good early start for us. We've had a little bit more possession. Nobody's really troubled the XG ratings, the expected goals for the game so far. Both those ratings for both teams have been fairly rubbish so far. Here is a chance for PSV, though. Goats are on the ball. And they're working it very nicely, but we intercept it at the back. Otamendi and Verissimo are going to be difficult players to get through, I hope, this season. Again, we try and go slightly long, slightly too early. We're fortunate to win it again in the back in our defensive area, and again try and break the lines and get through this PSV Eindhoven side. Yaremchuk tries to have a go at goal at that point, and it gets blocked and sent out for a throw-in on the far side, but we regain it on a throw-in on the near side, and Mario puts it across the box, and nobody was quite there, but we continue to work the chance. And I think it was Weigl in the end. Weigl, not sure. You tell me in the comments. But he got the chance, which forced another corner. And again, at 19 minutes, the corner comes in. This time, the header goes over the top of the bar. Again, it's a PSV Eindhoven free kick. They've worked a chance on the left-hand side and then blasted it over the top themselves. It's quite an open game so far. It's kind of you have a go, we'll have a go, you have a go, we'll have a go. And nobody's really properly putting it away yet. Rafa on the left-hand side for us, though, gets a chance to hold up the play and then boots the ball way over the top of the penalty box onto the far right-hand side, gets it back again, having recovered the ball on the right-hand side, put it back across. Rafa was on the end of that one. Couldn't quite get the angle and the power in the attempt, though, and it goes straight to the goalkeeper. Half an hour in, we're still going. Another highlight for us down the right-hand side. One of these have got to give sooner or later, and it does there. Yaremchuk with a header, just really challenging the goalkeeper for a long sweeping cross that comes in off the right-hand side, off of this throw-in. Lazaro, our right fullback, seems to have picked up a knock. We'll have to have a look at that in a second. But there's a really good sweeping ball into the top of the 6-yard box. Goalkeeper came out, was challenged by Yaremchuk, and I don't think there's any issues in that at all. They just got their defensive shape wrong, and we get a headed goal and go 1-0 up in this game, 5-1 up in on aggregate. So we're now looking much more comfortable, even with just that one extra goal, which is fantastic. Can we properly demonstrate that by keeping the game calm, keeping the ball where we can, and getting them to chase shadows a little bit? They've worked a good opportunity here, though. They've broken through the lines. Zahavi into the box. We held him up brilliantly well, though, and actually won the loose ball back. Darwin through on goal for us, and he makes no mistake. What a brilliant counter-attack that was. And we are absolutely putting PSV Eindhoven to the sword here, and we're doing it very comfortably. 34 minutes on the clock of this second leg. We are now 6-1 up on aggregate. Very comfortable. Really happy with that. And what it does do, of course, with the early win that we've had in the domestic Portuguese league as well, confidence has got to be sky high at the moment. Can we ride that like a crest of a wave and continue that momentum on for many, many games to come? We'll have to see. The goal kick comes out. We do just about win it. Otamendi sorts that for us in the end, coming out from defence. The ball goes over the top for Rafa. He drops it back to Mario, and he has a strike at goal. Fortunately, this time for PSV Eindhoven, the goalkeeper was equal to it. But we have pretty much dominated most of this first half. Another chance comes at 44 minutes. Into the box it goes. Rafa drops it back to Mario. We're held up slightly, but we're still maintaining possession in midfield, which is good. Where's the switch of play? There should be an opportunity. There it was, and it didn't quite work out. They didn't quite feed the ball through properly on the right-hand side. That time they did. Everton smashes the ball past the goalkeeper, but it goes narrowly past the post as well and out for a goal kick. But that was a good ball through in the second time of asking into that right side of midfield kind of area. We're winning so much at the back. At half-time, I really do need to sort out this right fullback and see if he's going to be okay to manage the rest of the game. But here we go. Verissimo again at the right in the central defensive area, sorting out the play for us. There is the overlapping fullback. Our sort of fullback come wing backs. They're playing in a fullback role with the wing back instructions. They're going to be quite attacking for us. And some games that's going to work out brilliantly for us, and other games that might open up a few spaces, as it did a little bit there, but we just about survived it. So we'll have to bear that in mind as we progress through. But this is just going fantastically well. There's so many highlights in this particular game. Again, PSV Eindhoven have broken through. Again, they had a great opportunity. They eventually dropped the ball back for the second striker to come onto it and blast the ball at goal. But he, again, misses his shot, really. We could have been like 2-2 in this game by now. It could have been 4-4 in this game, really. But we're not. And we're 2-0 up. 6-1 over the two legs so far, with still a half of football yet to play. So let's go into the dressing room and praise them to the hilt and tell them how magnificent they've been. Very happy with that. We're then going to go into the tactics. We're going to have to replace this right fullback. Lazaro, he's on loan for this season with us from Inter Milan. He's more of an attacking wide man, really, but I'm using him as a fullback. He's got 12 tackling. So he should be able to do that okay, but hopefully what that will bring is an attacking width from that fullback position in our more attacking moments. So that's the plan. He's very ably supported by Gilberto, who is another right fullback in the club, more of a regular right fullback. So he's going to come in for us and play out the rest of this game, and those two are going to rotate quite well. What we have got through this squad is this second 11 here. Listed basically, if this is listed 1 through 11 in terms of where people play, this is mirrored on the bench. So 1 is the goalkeeper, right down to number 11 is our striker, and everything else is set between. Actually, we've got some good backups here. I did make one error though. I did bring a player into the club, and I've just realised, but it was on a free transfer, and it's this guy, Felipe Augusto. Apologies for not pointing that one out sooner. I just completely, it slipped my mind. He is a former Benfica player. His career stats suggest he was at Benfica between 2016 and 2018. So a few years ago. He's been around and about since then. But I found him on a free transfer, and I did need that one central midfield player that I thought was just going to be able to come in and add something to the squad. And with 16 passing, 14 tackling, some reasonable mentals and physicals, this guy can do it. At 27 years old, he was a very good get on a free transfer, I think. So apologies for that one. That was my mistake earlier in the episode, but I think we've got a good squad here. So let's see how we go. We've made our change at half-time because of the injury. We've given the team talk. Let's get back out onto the pitch and see how this second half goes. But in theory, we should just carry on doing what we're doing, really. I don't need to change anything at this point. We've got a comfortable lead. Darwin through again down this right-hand side of the penalty box, drops it back to Everton, gets it back again, and sets up Weigl for a brilliant strike on the edge of the box. And that is 3-0 on the day and 7-1 on aggregate. I'm quite liking this Benfica lot. Curse, they say? What curse? We'll find that out later on in the competition, no doubt. But ultimately, to start with, this couldn't have gone a lot better, really, could it? Fantastic. So just to reiterate, when we are in these episodes, we're going to play every second leg of any tie that we come up with. We're going to play any final, of course, and in group stages, we're going to play the second, fourth and sixth matches, hopefully taking in each of the opposition that we're playing. And yeah, just not playing absolutely every single game on the episodes. Otherwise, we'll be here forever, potentially. But we'll see what happens. It could be a very, very short series because we might win the European Cup in the first one. Who knows? Anything could happen at this point. So we'll find out. But that's a good defensive display there. We've managed to block it enough to get it out for a corner kick. I don't mind that. Players putting their bodies on the line a little bit to block the occasional shot and the cross that comes in, etc. Anything that can work to get that ball away from our goal, I will happily take. And we're doing that pretty well at the moment. 57 minutes in. This has been incredibly highlight intense. So I'm intrigued to see whether that continues in our style of play or not, or whether there's going to be some quieter games to come. But on the far side, there's a cross coming in from the corner kick for PSV. It doesn't quite work out for them. 60 minutes has come and gone. We've got half an hour to play. They've got a goal kick that they're sending down the pitch. Can we win it? We don't. They get the header on. They work it down the left-hand side, cross it across the penalty box for a second time as well. But again, defensively, we get something on it. Really impressed by that so far. Corner kick on the far side for PSV, though. They whip it in. Again, we get the header out, but they're going to win the loose ball in midfield and recycle possession down the right-hand side. And they've worked a shooting opportunity. Excuse me. But the goalkeeper was equal to it. At 66 minutes on the clock, we're going to pause the game there just so I can have a coughing fit. And then we're going to make some substitutions. So back into the tactics page we've gone, and I'm going to make a couple of changes here just to see out the game. And I think it's going to be our wide men that we take out purely for the conditioning, really. They've worked very, very hard for us in this first game. Everybody's been playing great. I mean, Gilberto has come on at half-time, played all right since being there, held that position okay. But ultimately, we did all our damage in the first half, didn't we, really? So we're not looking to pull up trees in this second one, just be very, very secure. So we're going to take our two wide men out. Goncalves, Diogo Goncalves is on the bench for us. He's a wide right Portuguese midfielder, so he's going to be helpful to us moving forward. And then on the left, we've got this guy, Radonjic. And it's not a player that I know too much about, if I'm totally honest. Serbian left winger. We brought him in on loan. Not my doing. This was what the club did before me. He's in from Marseille. So ultimately, that's a good couple of replacements for us down on the right and left-hand side. So Everton comes out. Rafa comes out. Those players go in. Not going to change anything else. We've already made the third substitution for the injury at right fullback. So we're just going to see the game out. 20 minutes, 23 minutes to play. 13 minutes? No, it's 23 minutes to play. But that time is absolutely charging by now. The highlights have gone a little bit, which I actually don't mind. Having said that, here is PSV with another one. And they've worked it very nicely to reach the penalty box and had a striker goal again. Ulysses. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right, but maybe I am. But anyway, he was equal to it on that occasion. This occasion, the cross comes in again and we get it cleared. They win the possession back in midfield with Mario Götze. And they work an opportunity, but we win the ball back and then we put it over the top very quickly for Darwin to run onto. He puts it in the back of the net. Was there any offside decision there? I'm not 100% sure, but that is as good a counter-attack as you're ever likely to see. Brilliantly won by Otamendi. And then the left-hand winger substitute that came on finds a way to put the ball straight through for Darwin Núñez. And with his pace, he gets away from people really well. And on this occasion, puts the ball in the back of the net. We do get a fourth goal on the day. An eighth goal over the two legs. And this has been basically as dominant as you're likely to see. And it's not over yet. Otamendi on the ball again for us in the defensive unit into midfield. We've sent it out wide right. There's Goncalves through to Yaremchuk. And the goalkeeper comes out and closes the space brilliantly and puts it away for a corner kick for us. But again, we're pushing them and pushing them and pushing them. Can they break again? Another shot comes in and it's cleared by a block by one of their defenders. And they have a left-hand side throw-in now for us to deal with again. Concentration has been so good so far. And again, between Otamendi and Ulysses, they've managed to figure that one out between the two of them. That could have been that the striker nicked in between the two and nicked the ball, but he didn't at all. This time he does get through, though. Goetze with a chance, and he tries to dink it over the goalkeeper, who was just slightly in no man's land. He didn't get his angles right, though, did he? The striker of the ball, and it goes out for a goal kick. The goal kick that we come back for is for PSV Eindhoven. Again, they've worked off the front man pretty well, and they get a chance, and they put it away this time. And it looks like we're in for a repeat of the scoreline from the first game. It's now 4-1 on the day. Having had a 4-1 win in the first leg as well, we are now 8-2 up over aggregate. And still very, very comfortable with 7 minutes to play, plus a little bit of injury time. Hopefully, we just see this one out now. No histrionics, no problems for anybody. Get everybody fit and healthy through the game, other than the right fullback that we've had to replace already. We'll see what his injury is like. And let's move on to other new games to play, really. 92 minutes on the clock, so time is basically up. There was a ball over the top from the free kick. Didn't quite work out for us. The goalkeeper for PSV has it. He boots it down the pitch. We're waiting for the final whistle, and there it is. I don't think you'll see much more comprehensive than that, really. 8-2 over 2 games against a really strong side in PSV Eindhoven. I will absolutely take that. So, off the back of that game, we did have a little bit of an injury, but Lazaro's only out for a couple of days, so that's not too bad at all. And as I said during the game itself, we've got a reasonable squad in terms of being able to rotate like for like, roughly, in terms of having a decent backup option in the squad. So we're not doing too bad for that. We have qualified from the 3rd round qualifying path in the Champions Cup into the 4th round, the last of the qualifying rounds, I believe, to get into the group stage proper. And we play Monaco in that double leg affair again. First leg coming up will be at home for us. And you and I will come back and play the second leg away to Monaco for our next episode. If we go into our schedule, you'll see where it places. It's coming up very, very soon, because obviously these qualifying rounds happen fairly early on to get everybody sorted for the group stages. So between now and when we come back, I've got a couple of domestic games to play in the league. I've got that first game against Monaco to play, and you and I will come back for the second game against Monaco in the Champions Cup League Path Playoff second leg. So let's see how we get on with that. Until then, though, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I hope we're going to have a lot of fun with this one. It's going to be a tricky one to actually fulfill our task and win that European trophy for Benfica, but we're going to give it as good a go as we possibly can. So thank you for joining me today. Really appreciate it. Make sure you drop a subscription on the channel. Click that notification bell. Get all the opportunity to keep up to date with the videos that I drop. This series will release every Tuesday and Thursday evening, 6:30 p.m. UK time on my channel. On Monday, Wednesday and Friday, it will continue to be Rolling in the Isles, my British Isles Journeyman series. So keep an eye on all of that as well. Don't forget to come and find me over on Twitch as well. Until next time, though, here, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.